Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Let's start off with Curtis for a minute. Curtis and Hat Daddy. Curtis, he's not in a good place. Okay? Came to the club, he started drinking nonstop, and Mika decides to call Hat Daddy. The Hat Daddy comes over, and he's at first he tries to get him to stop drinking. And then he finds out why he's drinking. And this is where we get to the point of plot matters more than, let's say, anything else. Hat Daddy, aka Marshall, for the uninitiated, is pretty much giving Portia excuses. Oh, she's human, can you imagine what it was like? She might have been scared and seeing how you walked out. Can you blame her for like how she would react or something like that, like she knew you were gonna do this, and then he tries to compare what he did to what she did. In all reality, what both of them did was trash, and I might be able to understand what Marshall did at the time to some extent, but at a certain point, they became grown adults. Tommy and Curtis. So even that doesn't really hold up too well. But with Portia, when Curtis was like, Portia, I'm pretty sure he said that Portia wasn't going to tell me the truth. So I'm just like, on what level do you actually forgive somebody who is literally telling you, no, I would not have told you the truth. I would have kept that to my grave. You would have missed out on an opportunity to really get to know your daughter. Yeah, stepdaughter, whatever. Maybe it may not be his daughter at all, but the possibility that they could be, father and daughter, and the fact that he didn't know that, and she practically was going to take that to her deathbed. Because let's be honest, towards the end of her life, she was probably going to sit there and tell him. Maybe, I don't know. Probably not. So no. Um, how do you sit there and forgive something like that? But of course, because I don't really see him pairing up with anyone else, that's what they're going to do. They're going to find a way to have Curtis forgive Portia for lying for 18 something years, 19 something years about, Trina. They're just going to, and the sad thing is when he was like, oh, you can't sit there and blame her for being human. I'm like, there's degrees of being human, okay? The fact of the matter is, she was never going to tell him. So, like, really? Also, you would expect that Marshall would have been a little more upset about the situation. Yes, he wants to sit there and help his son out, and but at the same time, I'm like, you by that extension, you missed out on some time. Well, let's put it this way: if Portia wouldn't have said anything to Curtis, then you wouldn't have known that you possibly have a granddaughter. So, maybe fire up the old engines and get a little on board with him. Yeah, you don't have to go overboard or anything like that, but I would expect him to be a little more upset about the whole thing. And you know what? Marshall did say something that I said too. I'm surprised that Stella would just not say anything and not bust that wedding and not just, tell you and stuff like that. Now, granted, there's some sort of BS circumstances, reasons behind it, like, oh, you got to sit there and tell your mother. And I'm like, the Stella I knew from day one, the version that I couldn't stand, would have happily went up in that wedding and just blasted her in front of everyone. And yet, we didn't get that. We didn't get that at all. Yeah, I know it would have been cliche, but still. Um, Heather, I don't know what's going on with this woman. Okay, I don't understand it. I don't get her character. I know a lot of people like Heather. I don't get her. Okay, she's literally killed people like there was no tomorrow. She is handing. First of all, after she convinced Ava to stay and be like, you need to be the one to take out, Ryan and stuff like that, and Felicia's like, how about we just get out of here? And Ava's like, no, 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 no. Keep talking more. I want to hear how you destroyed my life. So she tells him, and then Heather gives Ava the gun, and Felicia's like, shoot him, shoot her. You just shot her in the leg or something. I'm just saying. I'm just like, so let me get this straight. The homicidal maniac that was going around just killing people left and right. You just going to hand him the gun? Like really? If this was the case, then why didn't you just not shoot him yourself? I have so many baffling questions in my head, but yeah, Ava goes out there to try to find Ryan. Esme wants nothing to do with Ryan, even though her water broke. She's like, I want no parts of you. I want no parts of you. At some point, because Ryan Smith is trying to convince her, hey, we got to get out of here. We got to do this. We got to do that. Ava comes in. They're talking for a little bit. Esme leaves. Long story short, Esme runs into Laura's arms and starts hugging her. Because Laura and pretty much the cavalry comes in and Heather's arrested. Um, Ava shoots Ryan in the arm. Ryan is just in full simp mode. Okay? I know we can sit there and say it's delusional and stuff like that, but let's be honest. It is pretty much simp mode at this point. She shoots him in the arm. And then towards the end, it looks like she's about to shoot him again. But she pulls the trigger. Nothing comes out. Well, I don't know if anything comes out. Maybe she shot him in the other leg or something like that. Because that sort of preview, you look like he was still, like he wasn't on the ground or anything like that. I'm not going to sit there and lie. It was kind of a cliffhanger. I do definitely want to sit there and see what happens tomorrow. But, guess we're just going to wait and see. Uh, Spencer and Trina kiss, and Spencer stops himself from going any further because he doesn't want to take advantage of her. She's in a really dark place. She wants to not think about what's going on with Portia and her lives and everything like that. And, Spencer's like, listen, this may feel good in the moment. This may help you forget or whatever. But in the morning, you may not feel you may not feel that way. And I don't want to sit there and be the guy that took advantage of you. So he did the honorable, chivalrous thing and stopped it before it went any further. After that, they want to go to the docks. They talk to Alexis, and they pretty much kind of get the scope at this point. Um, Alexis figured out who the hook killer was. told Kevin and Laura, and then at some point they all figured, they all now know that Heather is Esme's mother. So that happens. Looks like Austin's going to be fine. There was one point where Heather was like, hey, listen, you don't have to sit there and rush so much. I didn't use any poison or anything like that to make sure that he was going to die faster. So it should be good for a little bit. I think that's pretty much about it. All in all, I was just going to say it was a good episode. It was. Um, I did like the fact that Marshall did come to Curtis's side to some extent and try to talk to him and figure out what was going on with him and just kind of really be a father for him. I was feeling something in my review, but I think it's kind of pointless, so I'm not gonna really sit there and say it. Plus, they had a nice son and father moment, and I'm not gonna be the party pooper to ruin it. I may save that for my live tonight, but I guess time will tell. All in all, it was a good episode. It did a lot for everyone, for the Sabrina fans. It was a nice little moment for them, and yeah, all in all, a good episode. I can't really sit there and say too much negative stuff about it. So, yeah, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.